Hey everyone, today we have Advik with us, and he's a founder of Rolemate. And I am also not that much, I also don't have that much knowledge of what is Rolemate exactly doing. And just let's get know more about the Rolemate and what he exactly doing at Rolemate. Hi Advik.
Hi, nice to meet you. Yeah, I'd love to talk more about the problem that I witnessed and just what got me to
Hmm.
come up with this idea. I think it's evolved a lot in the past month itself. Started from me just observing the great problem that has been created by this tool called AI, which has
Hmm.
allowed a lot of people to mass apply to a lot of jobs. I'm sure I would love to learn also more about what this has been like in India because that's something I don't get exposure to a lot.
Hmm.
But yeah, just a lot of people applying to way more jobs than would be humanly possible without this tool at their
Hmm.
disposal, and hiring managers using the same tool to review this massive volume of applications that they don't have the human bandwidth to. And I want to fix this because it's going to be a growing problem with this tool.
Hmm.
That allows you to scale the amount of work you're doing so that the end goal, which is like whatever job you want to get, because I'm sure that if someone applies to like 500 jobs, they don't want, not all of them are their top priority, right?
Hmm.
So why not focus on less applications that are higher quality and delivers you a higher ROI? And
Hmm.
so what I'm doing with Rolemate is that I'm basing your applications off of a greater source of credibility, which is,
Hmm.
think of like GitHub, LinkedIn, LeetCode, but it can expand to a lot more
Hmm.
different third-party applications. But
Hmm.
just something that basically creates a profile of a user based on a live proof of skill map rather than something that you manually type out yourself. And also, that is the layer of the app that is figuring out what kind of person a candidate you are. And then the other half is sourcing you based on your profile with
Hmm.
where you should apply based on your personal and professional interests and also like-mindedness of the company culture, and the team that you might eventually end up on. Maybe someone like directly like a technical manager that might want to hire you,
Hmm.
that you would be a good personality fit for their team on. Um, I would want to source a candidate directly to that team
Hmm.
rather than have the current process in place of applying and then the initial like hire view interview and the multiple rounds of interviews, because I think it's possible with AI to actually eliminate the current use of AI. So I'm using AI to kind of almost eliminate how AI is being currently used in the job market, which is making the process much more inefficient.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, tell me what it's been like in India, I guess, with the same kind of
Yeah.
problem.
What you're talking, it is absolutely correct because people nowadays are using AI and all things. So almost all resume templates, look similar, and maybe content may be differ, but also their points and that all generated by AI. Means people get took the help of the AI to build a resume and all things. But
Mhm.
I think that there is some personal touch also that missing in the that thing, that what I am experiencing in India.
Okay. Yeah, and so another direction I had with this that I'm seeing is kind of a growing market is just the sudden boom of startups that have been a bunch of people enabled by AI again.
Hmm.
So, what I want to do as a second service with Rollmate is also beyond just hiring for corporate, it
Hmm.
can also help you find a potential co-founder for a startup that you're working at, or also just get you hired at a startup if startups are looking to hire. And
Yeah.
the great thing about Rollmate is that it's going to be completely free for anyone that's on the applicant side,
Hmm.
because businesses, there's a lot of money in trying to source the right candidates and cut down the volume of
Hmm.
just spam that's going into applications, and so a lot
Yeah.
of businesses are willing to pay for
Hmm.
that increase in efficiency.
Yeah. And I think everyone is shifting towards AI. Like in every industry, we are using AI nowadays.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, it's all about, I guess, I think at this point, cutting out the kind of hype use cases that are not really
Hmm.
leading to more efficient outcomes and are just kind of leading to a lot of
Hmm.
like cleanup work that needs to be done with the amount of slop that's being generated. So I
Yeah.
think that's the current problem that needs to be addressed.
Yeah. You asked about the scenario in India. What is the exact scenario in New York, USA?
I think in the New York and also San Francisco area, there's a lot of that's like the hub of most of these startups that have come about in the last couple of years,
Hmm.
and so honestly, it's a great place to be because I've met a lot of VCs, a lot of different startup founders and just people working on very cutting edge technology that you don't otherwise get access to if you're in a more kind of rural area.
Hmm.
I used to go to Purdue and I transferred out of there, and it was a really good decision, I think, because just being closer to New York has opened up so many opportunities for me. Because if that is the area that you eventually want to end up in, then it's better to, like, the sooner the better you surround yourself with that kind of industry. You're going to surround yourself with problems that you're actually interested in solving. So
Hmm.
yeah, definitely a great place to be.
Yeah, it's true. Do you ever think that nowadays everyone is shifted towards AI, but businesses also are only towards the AI shift? Means everyone wants to develop a certain kind of applications for the different purposes using AI, but there are lots of things missing in that means particular applications that we are into AI, but we are not that much, I think so, on that level of understanding how AI is like and be used. Means do you get that everyone is using AI, but something is missing? I think so.
Um, could you elaborate more on what you mean
Yes,
by what's
that
missing? There's a lot of things.
yeah, everyone is using AI. Everyone is using applications also. Means everyone building AI applications specifically, but 90% of that application looks similar. Means like to generate the text or generate the images or to to work something like that. So it is booming. Everyone is building applications also. That is the good thing. But do you ever think that there is something missing in this industry currently?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that's missing is truth, honestly, because a resume is just words on paper that have no kind of backing, and often that background check doesn't happen until after the candidate's been hired. And because you can now just AI generate a resume, there's always going to be someone who has basically an identical or better resume than you, but knows someone at the company. And I think in any case, someone with the same credentials but a
Hmm.
greater human to human connection between the
Uh,
applicant and someone working at the company is going to get hired. So I think it's more important than ever to have that as like kind of a mandatory process for any kind of hiring.
yeah. Most resume looks same nowadays, you know. So what instantly catches your attention?
As a problem or just as a good thing?
That's a good thing.
I think a resume that kind of maybe not on the resume itself, but when it comes time to talk about what you worked on, it tells a story beyond just the projects you made.
Hmm.
You start with some kind of story about your life, and your
True.
projects connect to the problems that you faced or that you
Hmm.
observed, and that led you to creating, like, using this knowledge of a problem to create impact. I
Hmm.
think that's something
Hmm.
that's one of the best ways to go about spending your time working on things that eventually end up in your resume. So,
Yeah. What makes a project worth putting on a resume?
oh, that's a good question. I think it really honestly depends on, again, what your passions are, but also this is kind of one of the biggest problems for people that are in college, especially. It's like, what how do I know what projects to build?
Hmm.
And another service that Rolemate will have is that based on roles that you might be interested in at companies, it will actually do like a kind of check of what kind of projects that those companies are working on and what are the kind of highest signal projects they're looking for, and
Hmm.
then combine that with what your personal interests already are, and
Hmm.
then with a combination of those two things, it will suggest what would be the highest signal project.
Yeah. One more thing, I'm interested to know that do companies focuses on certifications?
I think certifications are good if they're a cheaper alternative to something that's either taught in school or that you just can't find at whatever school you're studying at.
Hmm.
Um, so from that lens, yes, but if you have a project that uses the same technology that a certification teaches you, then I mean the eventual goal is to take that knowledge from the certification and use it to build something anyway, right? So if you can
Hmm.
prove that with a working product, that's any day going to be better than a certification, I think.
Yeah, true. Like people nowadays use the certifications only to put on resume. They didn't complete that course also.
Yeah, so I think yeah, from that degree, it's become more about taking something that you learned and
Hmm.
making something out of it that wasn't just kind of you following instructions like you would on like a course certification,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And also one most important thing is networking also. So a lot of people are scared to network. What's the right way to build the genuine connections?
um go to events that are honestly just say yes more, I think is something that people need to do. Just don't wait. I've talked to a lot of people that are like, oh, I would apply to this position, but I'm not ready yet. I need to like build on my skills more. A lot of positions that I apply into, I have this like doubt that, like, what if I'm ready? But I've learned from doing that, doing just doing things is the best way to learn. Like if you fail, then you're gonna be thinking about what you did wrong, and that's gonna help you do the same kind of thing better next time.
Hmm.
And if you do actually go for whatever you were doubtful about, oftentimes you'll learn during the process itself. So I think
Hmm.
there's some things that you can't learn just by thinking about them. You actually have to just dive in and see what happens.
Yeah, true. Yes, true. Do you have any personal experience that how connection ever opened unexpected doors for you?
Well, there's a lot, and that's a big reason why I keep doing it, because I think every time I've learned that it was the right decision. Um,
Okay, okay. How can
um,
introverts network with sounding fake without sounding fake?
oh, that's a good question. I don't know. I'm an extrovert myself, so I
Yeah.
I would have to talk to an introvert about this. It's a
Hmm.
good thing to think
Hmm.
about. Um, yeah, I don't know honestly the
Hmm.
answer to that.
Yeah. What's one thing about startup that nobody tells you before starting this startup?
There's going to be downsides to whatever option you pick.
Hmm.
If you chose to go stealth, for example, you're gonna miss out on a lot of the uh, customer discovery aspect of just talking about your product and validating it as you're building it,
Hmm.
which is a big reason why I decided to not go stealth. But at the
Hmm.
same time, um, I've started to actually notice that a lot of people are coming up with hackathons or side projects ideas very similar to mine that I previously talked to about Rolemate,
Hmm.
and so there's going to be pros and cons always, but I think honestly seeing that happen is kind of helping me also further validate the fact that this is a product that people are interested in. They think it's like a really
Hmm.
novel solution. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think there's always going to be downsides to whatever option you pick, and you have to be ready for that and pick which downside you want.
Yeah. So currently you're doing this full time?
No, actually, I'm interning at a company in over the summer, and I'm still in college. So yeah,
Yeah.
this
Okay.
is this is something I'm working on. If it comes to the point where
Hmm.
it needs my full time attention, then I'll go that route. But yeah, currently doing a lot of stuff.
So from how many years you are living in the USA?
I've lived here my whole life. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh no. But I definitely think you get a lot more exposure in the US. I mean, I think
Hmm.
India has like a lot of really high quality education, but the environment can kind of be a
Hmm.
bubble of
Yeah.
the kind of industries that are there that you get exposure to. That I
Yeah.
think US can have more diversity.
Hmm. So what do you like most in USA?
The diversity for sure. I
Hmm.
think there's there's and especially in New York, there's like such a good mix of different cultures and businesses and just that combination. I think prevents you from going into this kind of bubble of society. You get to experience how different people live and different mindsets, and I
Hmm.
think that's it's very unique.
Yeah. Did you ever visited India?
Oh yeah, I've been there a lot. Yeah.
What do you like most in India?
um, the food, and honestly also the kind of freedom. It's interesting because the driving is like the most chaotic thing I've ever seen, but
Yes.
somehow it works out. So I like it's like really interesting to see how like um what was that word, jugaad, like
Yes,
like
yes.
but but to see like how people make rules out of like unofficial, where there's no like laws in place. So it's really interesting to see that.
Hmm. How building a role may change you, like personally or professionally or lifestyle?
uh Professionally, I think I always like to test my limits, like see how much I can take on. And honestly, this is finding this product that I'm passionate about, and then being able to build a solution and talk with other people who are passionate about the same problem has been
Hmm.
a really good growing experience that I think anyone that starts a startup on a problem that they actually care about
Hmm.
is going to experience. And a lot of founders will talk about the same kind of thing that they got out of building their first startup.
Hmm.
And um, honestly, no regrets at all. Like I think it's been a really good learning experience. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard of like 20 different startups all trying to solve a very similar idea or a
Hmm.
similar problem, but at the end of the day, I see that the problem is still there, which means that there hasn't been like kind of a dominant force to change how the job market works. So
Hmm.
that's what inspires me to keep going.
Yeah. Actually, before starting this, I have gone through your LinkedIn page of
Yeah,
Rolemate. So you mentioned that ROI skills. So can you
yeah,
elaborate more that what is exactly that?
yeah. It's basically what I talked about before, which is that there's so much knowledge and accessibility to learning new things at your disposal now more than ever before. But so how do you decide? But you only have 24 hours in a day, right? How do you decide to make the best use of that time? And I want Rolemate to be kind of your coach on this side that figures out what you want, in a career or out of life in the professional sense,
Hmm.
and and ensures that you're like using your time effectively,
Hmm.
building the things that matter most, talking to the people that matter most, going to the events that matter most.
Hmm. Yes, true. So you're solo handling all things or you have team?
For now, I'm solo, but when the company expands, yeah, it's just not at that stage yet. But yeah,
What is your plan for this startup Rolemate for 2026 goals? I can say that.
I want to. I mean, definitely by the time the fall hiring cycle rolls around, I
Hmm.
want the name to be known and people to have used it, and just kind of through word of mouth. There's a lot of avenues for this to go in with the investors that I'm talking to and the people that have expressed interest in using this service. So definitely by the time that hiring cycle rolls around is when I want to be like a dominant force in the hiring
Hmm.
industry.
Yeah. One more question I want to ask that before AI, the industry scenario in USA and after AI, the industry scenario in USA.
The industry scenario, I think, again, yeah, like in it's only when we're only talking about like the hiring aspect of things or just in general.
In general, specifically in tech industry.
Hmm. It's a very broad question. I think a lot of the best use cases have come from younger founders that are more AI proficient.
Hmm.
A lot of companies are actually get younger people to teach older people about how to best use AI, just because the longer you've been in a company that has no clue what this is,
Hmm.
um, it's going to be very hard to adapt, and that's what's also led to a lot of layoffs.
Hmm.
Just people that weren't able to adapt to the change, and so I think it's interesting because at the same time you have a lot of younger people coming up with the most novel products based off of AI, and at the same time you have a lot of like ChatGPT wrappers being built, right?
Hmm.
So um, I think that's how it started in the industry, where it was like a lot of the older companies that are more established actually had a harder time adopting because of the people that were not familiar with this tool. And now it's become basically like everyone is trying to build something out of AI, but what is actually contributing something new and making a process more efficient rather than just being, like another ChatGPT wrapper, for example. That's a very generalized way to put it, but
Hmm.
basically
True.
what is actually adding value, I think.
Hmm. Sometimes I think that even we can't predict what will exactly happen in next 5 years also, because this AI things means changing very rapidly.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's the rate at which new models and new use
Hmm.
cases is becoming faster and faster. So it'll be interesting.
You know what? Sometimes I thought that people will get to used to it after some years and after some times, like when we get used to Android or like smartphone and other things. When new technology introduces to us, we like behave kind of something like people talk about that that it will not work and all these things in starting years, but after that everyone get used to it. But AI is the what I am experiencing that day by day it is like giving us a new experiences, so there are a
It's
lot of things to come, I think so.
Yeah, no, you're definitely right. I think, and to the point where it's like AI replacing human labor, that's always controversial.
Hmm.
Um, History does tend to repeat itself when there's like some kind of new technology that it comes that has a lot of benefits, but also a lot of
Hmm.
cons where it's like replacing some human um, in the kind of work they do. Then there's going to be a lot of backlash. But eventually, it's not always like the dystopian future that people make it out to be with this new technology. There's always it just changes the way the world
Hmm.
works, I think. But really, it's not positive. There's always things that are added, and there's always things that are replaced due to the new tech. So
Yeah.
I think the same thing's gonna happen.
Yes. And one more question is, I also feel that personally for myself that something we are chasing that I feel that actually doesn't matter much for the long term. So what are the things according to you?
Like AI based things that we're chasing.
Yeah, take base like everyone like thinking like it is reduces our efforts and our time also to develop anything and other thing. So in long term everyone wants to be millionaire billionaire, so by starting a startups and these all things, but journey is not always smooth and what we planned will not work according to our plan, things will not go to according to our plan. So things are not work, some things are not work in long term, but we are chasing today that thing.
Hmm.
Means like everyone
Let
is
me.
using AI and we are going to it like we are chasing it, but sometimes it feel that it will not work in long term.
It's interesting. Um, there's a lot of things in terms of products being built
uh,
that a lot of people are building without the actual customer base in mind, and that's always like the first rule of anything you're building. It's not about the product; it's about the market.
hmm,
So if you're building something cool with AI that no one's going to use, then it's kind
hmm.
of useless.
Yes.
Um, the other thing is, I mean, people keep saying LLMs are a dead end,
Hmm,
but they are getting increasingly better at, or like passing more, completing more and more complex human tasks at the
hmm,
same benchmarks. So they are improving, but it's interesting because half the world says they're a dead end with how they reason in terms of like trying to
hmm,
achieve GI, and then other people don't. So I don't really have an answer to that yet
hmm.
because I don't think anyone has an answer to that question. But yeah,
What is exactly in my mind that there is a lots of recessions happening nowadays, and there are unemployment also. So sometimes I feel that are we chasing something that we will not get job in futures, something like that.
I don't think we will not get jobs, and a lot of people have debunked this theory. It's actually a lot of people just isolate the one number of how many layoffs have happened, but they
Huh.
don't account for the number of new jobs that have been created, which
Hmm.
massively like outdoes the amount of layoffs that have happened. So I think it just causes the kind of jobs that are in the market to change
Hmm.
rather than so one job might be eliminated and a lot of people are laid off, but it's because the skills required are something different, and so a lot of different jobs are created because of that. So
Yeah, industry demand is changing nowadays. So absolutely, with industry, we have to change ourselves.
for sure,
If someone listening this and feeling lost in their career, what would you tell them?
listen. Oh, to I mean, I would tell them that I don't want to say it's like a lie because I know that that's a very blunt way to put it, and for a lot of people, it comes across as like unfair that they worked towards a skill for a very long time and then it just kind of became useless. But I would say just it's the same problem is kind of everywhere, and the best thing to do is just stay up to date and be
Hmm.
as adaptable as you can rather than just mastering how to do one thing really well without first assessing if the skill is the most valuable thing to learn.
Yeah, true. We have to learn the skills, and it means learning valuable skills is important.
Exactly.
Yeah, it should match with your goal. Sometimes we learn something, and our goal is something different.
Yeah, and not only your goal, also what the industry demands, right? You could
Hmm.
learn something with it goes back into the same thing as as products and startups or companies that are being developed. It sounds like a bad way to put it, but it
Hmm.
is the truth that when you're building skills, you are a kind of product. If you're trying to get hired by companies, right, they want to hire someone that's going to provide the most value, and
Hmm.
so you also have to position yourself from that sense. Like, what skills should I learn that are going to provide the most value to the current market?
Yeah,
I
true.
think that's
Yeah.
people have to focus on more.
Earlier you mentioned that you are doing your graduations. In which field?
Computer science and data science.
Okay. In which university?
Rutgers University.
Hmm.
It's in New Brunswick in New Jersey.
So how is your college journey going?
Uh, it's been going pretty good. It's my first semester here. I used to go to Purdue, so I transferred from there, and
Hmm.
then yeah, it's been pretty good so far. But I think most of the it's a good starting point what you learn in the classes, but
Hmm.
you honestly have to go to more hackathons and build more and go to more events outside of school to stay up
Hmm.
to date with friends. I think
Yeah,
no
that's good.
school can really keep up with it. And it's not just like Rutgers. It's just that the pace that, like what you
Hmm.
said, right? It's so hard to predict how fast new things are coming.
Yes.
Just it's very hard for schools because of all the rules that they have in place to keep up with the pace at which new
Hmm.
like tech is.
Yes. College life is best life, but I think college life is also changing nowadays because in college itself, people doing lots of things rather than attending the lectures. They are handling other things also.
Oh yeah, and then, yeah, I'm personally someone that went to all every single one of my lectures because that's just how I what I like to do. But I know a lot of people that just don't go to lectures at all, and they actually like make a like, good use of that time, and they get by with their classes, and they're able to they just they're able to like have this system
Hmm.
where very non-traditional
Yeah.
that works. It's interesting.
So your first semester is done?
Yeah, I mean it's my first semester at Rutgers, but I'm a junior in college now. So
Okay. So what subjects do you have in first semester?
what did I have? Sorry, can you
Subjects.
repeat that?
Subjects.
So since I just transferred to like I've been coding for 7, 8 years, but since I just transferred into the CS major, I
Hmm.
was taking like very introductory level classes. So um, just learning like data structures and discrete math.
Hmm. Yeah, data structure is interesting.
Yeah, like super foundational course for sure.
Yeah. So what are the things you want to share, but I didn't ask if you want to share anything?
Nothing from my end, but I guess they're good to hear. Um, yeah, I didn't have any other questions from my end, but yeah, is there anything else or?
Do you have any suggestion for me?
uh, I mean, honestly, just everything I talked about. Really, that's the best advice I can give, and that's a lot of. I mean, what my whole product is based on is trying to fix the job market for
Hmm.
um, everyone, but starting with people that are in technical roles in CS. And the reason I'm focusing on computer science is because I think like more that's becoming a skill that you have to learn regardless of what major you're in. So because a lot of roles are shifting to requiring coding now
Hmm.
because of the impact that it can have. So
Yeah, coding is also changes because nowadays people are using Cursor, Claude, and other AI tools also.
mhm.
So it is also changed nowadays. I think so.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be a lot of courses on. I can see like prompt engineering, or basically, if you're non-technical, how do you not burn all of your tokens and money trying to make something and like actually still have some kind of input in
Uh,
what you're making if you don't understand
hmm.
code? I think a lot, like I mean, you, even if you have never coded before, trying to like vibe code something is going to kind of force you to learn anyway as a byproduct when you start like kind of inspecting at whatever your coding agent has made.
Yeah,
So I think it'll just change the way people learn. It's kind of like a prompt first and
yeah.
then fix
It
after.
it simply means that people are adding AI subscriptions with Netflix subscription in their monthly budget.
Yeah, I can say the same for me. I think it's like almost like you need it at this point to keep up.
Yeah. So thank you, Advik, for coming here and sharing your journey and about the product Rolemate. And you're doing a fabulous work there. And yes, you're solving a real problem. I think so because it is a problem. I think in the industry currently. And I hope you will make it big. And all the best for you. All the best to you for this startup. I hope you like this conversation too.
Yeah, no, thank you so much. I really enjoyed the conversation, and it's things like this that also get me to think and about my product direction. And just I love having these kinds of conversations with people from different backgrounds. So yeah, thank you so much for hosting me.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.